Time now for another check of your weather forecast. Brittany, governors from North and South Carolina both declaring a state of emergency for next week. And you've been tracking the tropics. What can you tell us at this hour?
Well, all trends here with our forecast model data are positive, Siobhan, and I'm really not surprised because remember, those state of emergencies are declared ahead of a system, ahead of a potential emergency so that the funding can come through. So even with the storm staying offshore, we are still expecting impacts, especially near the immediate coastline. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop here of Tropical Depression 9. It has not yet become a named storm, but is expected to get the name Imelda as early as tomorrow. Locally, of course, the rain that we've had today has nothing to do with the tropics, although it does feel tropical outside, pretty gross. Right now, the only lingering rain we have is on the eastern side of Richmond County, eastern Chesterfield, and you can see some moderate rainfall as well on the eastern side there of Stanley and Rowan County. Otherwise, we're largely dry. Overnight, I want folks to keep an eye out for some widespread fog at times. You can actually see the clouds developing here on Futurecast. Now, remember, fog is just low-hanging cloud cover, and especially in areas that have seen rain the last few days, we would expect that wet ground to provide a higher risk of seeing some of that patchy fog. The overall rain chance tomorrow, though, is extremely low, only about 20%, and is probably one of the nicest days that we'll see over the next few. So try to get out and enjoy if you can. Temperatures will reach the low 80s. And of course, that's all ahead of more rain expected to be off and on. Just periods of rain. Again, not too widespread, but that'll be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday especially. So here's the latest forecast track on Tropical Depression 9. The good news with this latest update at 11 o'clock is now all of the Carolina coast is out of the forecast cone. Again, the close proximity to the coast still will mean impacts near the immediate coastline, including beach erosion, a high rip current risk, elevated wave heights, and even gusty winds in areas of heavy rain, especially depending on how large the system gets, as it will likely at this point Monday night and Tuesday be a Category 1 hurricane. But notice it takes that stark trek off to the east, which has been a consistent model pattern and model trend over the last 24 to 36 hours. Right now we have tropical storm warnings in effect for the Bahamas as well as just off the coast in Florida, and you can see the tropical storm watch shaded in yellow all the way up toward Jacksonville in southern Georgia. Essentially, watches warnings issued 24 to 36 hours before tropical storm force conditions are expected. So latest model runs again really on par with what the National Hurricane Center's latest forecast track has. Yesterday, I would say 75% still had the storm heading to the coast, while 25% had it out to sea. And now we've switched that. About 75%, if not more, are catching in on the out to sea party. And what is the reason why? Well, other than Tropical Depression 9, we have very, very strong Hurricane Umberto, which is currently a Category 5 hurricane. We just haven't talked about it as much because it's a fish storm, not expecting to impact land. But because TD9 has taken a longer time to strengthen and it has slowed down, that has allowed for a better pull and a bigger pull expected from Umberto, which is one of the reasons why now that the center has formed, remember we talked about that for a few days, that we needed that center to form to get better data. Now the data that comes every single day will just get better and better. I would still expect about 1 to 3 inches of rain locally on top of what we've already had. Yes, higher totals likely near the coast. And again, we will likely still see some gusty winds here inland, but we're looking at a maximum of 30 to 35, primarily Tuesday night and into early Wednesday. Of course, the coast again seeing bigger impacts with that as well. So it doesn't mean zero impacts, it just means lesser impacts here in the Carolinas. So as you look at your Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, all things are pointing to positives. Still periods of rain, still some gusty winds, but temperatures on the cooler side Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before it actually feels like fall heading into next weekend.